If you've ever celebrated your birthday on a weekend, and it was amazing because people already had plans to go out and just made the plans about your birthday, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back. Happy Monday. TGIM. Thank goodness it's Monday. We have a market to trade here. We got stuff running around. What's going on with Apple? We're going to make sense of all of it. Let's go.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, we are back for another episode of Live Trading. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here Monday morning. I, of course, have my main man, 13, in the back. 13, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just trying to recover from a food coma I gave myself this weekend.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about that. You sent me a picture. It looked pretty amazing. But we actually have a special guest here today. You folks all know him. It is, of course, Andy from Mighty Soldiers Trades. Andy, how you doing?
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. Great to be here.
All right, awesome. Andy, I understand that you had a birthday over the weekend. So happy birthday to Andy. We figured we'd bring you on here. How was it?
It was amazing. We went to Universal and, got to see the kids have a lot of fun. So probably the best birthday ever, Ryan.
Okay, best birthday ever. That is some big words right there. I'll say this. We're going to continue the theme of making this the best birthday ever. I'm not going to sing. And in fact, nobody here is going to sing, and we're going to make the birthday better by not doing that. What do you say?
That sounds like a great idea.
That sounds like a great idea. Forget it. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into things. Let's go ahead and talk about the SPY. Before we do that, I do want to mention that, of course, the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. So if you're looking to trade somebody else's money in order to earn money in this business, Trade the Pool is probably for you. Huge selection of stocks. Get up to 260K worth of buying power. Those guys are great. They're nice. They come in here. They help us out. They even give us things to trade, which is pretty awesome. Let me know if your broker gives you things to trade. Anyway, we appreciate Trade the Pool. Let's dive right into the SPY here. First thing that we take a look at pretty much every day. Boy, it sure looks like the SPY is just continuing to go to new highs. I know we've talked about, hey, maybe this is a blow off top. Is there a reversal coming? This, that, and the other thing. Man, SPY doesn't seem to care about any of that. It just keeps pushing up. Even when it starts to sell off, all the dips end up getting bought, and we keep going higher. Now, looking at the SPY here, we're actually a little bit lower in the pre-market, but let's see what happens when that market actually opens. A couple of other things that are worth noting here real quick. Bitcoin hit a high of 66,000 on the futures chart here today. So those Bitcoin names really, really ripping. I would expect a lot of the Bitcoin tied stocks to do well today, or at least to be volatile today and have opportunities to trade them. Now, as far as the SPY goes here, 13, you have any upside targets? I'm going to ask both of you. I don't mean to put you on the spot. If you don't have any, it's okay to say so. But do you have any upside targets on when this rally might kind of peter out, end, slow down? I mean, anything, really, anything.
I don't have upside targets. It's already blown through a couple of them that I had. So I'm just looking to see if we get a repeat of the same pattern that we've been having, where we get this pop up, it goes sideways for a bit, consolidates, and then we, move up higher to make new all-time highs. So I'd expect an inside candle today in order to start that consolidation, maybe a little bit higher. But I think we're going to consolidate and then move higher unless something changes. But that's been the case for the past few months. So.
Yeah, and I'm with you. And this is kind of what I was saying last week when we were talking to Steve about, if you can't beat him, join him. When we see that, I mean, this run, this is just fairly orderly, just keeps moving to the upside. All dips get bought. It reminds me of exactly the market that we were in post COVID, when we all started to realize that COVID wasn't going to end the world. Look what the market did. It was just kind of a staircase, stayed above a lot of those moving averages, just kept marching to new highs. And if you recall back then, a lot of people were like, well, there's a pandemic going on. How is the market going to new highs? Oh, it's disconnected, blah, 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 blah. Well, it kept going. And eventually we got a little bit of a dip, and now we are here to even more highs. So the big thing that I'm going to be watching here on a daily basis is, do dips get bought? So I just mentioned we're a little bit light in the SPY. Let's see if that just gets bought right out of the open, or maybe shortly after the open. Maybe we end up moving back towards highs here today. So, okay, that's it on the SPY. Let's go ahead and take a look at some individual names. A couple of things that I want to cover here first is going to be Apple. One of the reasons that we see Apple down here in the pre-market is that when we take a look at the news, Apple is fined $1.8 billion. EU calls the App Store's rules abusive against music streamers. So, 1.3 billion euros. I was kind of joking before we came on here. Tim Couch, I did it again. Tim Cook can find that money in his couch, it seems. It's just Apple has so much money that I really don't think that this is going to make a material impact on their cash position, despite being almost 2 billion euros. It is sinking Apple here a little bit in the pre-market. Let me get my cursor on here. We closed the after-hour session right about 179, so it kind of looks like a 179 pin. And we were down here at 176.63, and we're coming up off the lows now on Apple. So we'll see how much this actually does to it. I gotta say that they're going to appeal it, of course, but I gotta think that this really, in the long run, probably doesn't mean a whole lot. Would love to hear any of your opinions, especially if you have a different one for me. So. Hey, you guys got any opinions on this Apple fine? You looking for an Apple trade here today? Either of you?
I'm just listen. The Apple news is just basically the catalyst for me to look at the market today and see if we can get a nice pullback if Apple does get affected by that.
There you go. So effectively using it as a proxy. I like that.
Yeah, for me, I just want to see Apple come down to the 160 to 165 area, because I'm interested in picking it up down there.
Okay, now at that 165 area corresponds with that 500-day moving average. You know, the one thing that you can notice right now, we actually are below the 200-day. Remember back to the Pan W trade as well as the Snow trade regarding staying above that 200-day. We'll take a look here. We got the opposite for Apple, right? We closed beneath the 200-day. Then we've had multiple of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive closes beneath the 200-day. To me, that seems like it's definitely in a bearish trend, at least at the moment. 13, I'm with you on that 165. I think 167 to 165 could be some pretty good support. It's about 17 points away from where we're at right now. So I think that's totally feasible.
And you're also have an incoming death cross on the daily. So that's
so that death cross that he's talking about is going to be this yellow line pitching beneath this blue line, right? So when that happens, that is actually going to be your death cross. And 13, to your point, it looks like that's coming up here in just several days.
Yeah, if we keep this direction going, then that's what's going to happen.
So there you go. Something else to watch here on Apple. We'll see how that affects. Andy, I'm with you, because for me, I don't actually trade Apple based on any of this news. So I'm with you. I think I would probably use this as a proxy, see what other stocks might be moving because of that. Don't have any right now, but again, interested in the group. If you guys have anything related exactly to this, let us know. Okay, a couple other stocks we want to take a look at here real quick. We do have 15 minutes till the market opens, so we look pretty good right here. SMCI. So stop me if you guys are, if you have heard about this stock being extremely volatile. Exactly. Supermicro computer shares trading higher after the S&P Dow Jones Indices announces that the company is set to join the S&P 500. Goldman Sachs initiated coverage on the stock with a neutral rating and gave the stock a $941 price target. Worth noting, we're $100 above that price target already here today. So Goldman Sachs seems to be a little bit behind in terms of the price target. We'll see if the SMCI actually holds up here. Them joining the S&P 500, this is good news. This is obviously driving it here today. The one thing I would ask you guys, and I'd like to get the opinion of the group here, do you think joining the S&P is worth 15%? Jay, what about you? Well, you've been pretty on these moves and especially with some of these high flyers. What do you think? Is joining the S&P 500 worth 15.2% here to SMCI? Just something to think about. Again, with SPY kind of coming back in a little bit today, it'll be interesting to see how this ends up holding up here today. Thinking about it, saying, when does the actual inclusion occur? That's March a good 18th. Question. Let me see if I'm sure that's going to be
March 18th, I think.
March 18th. Thank you. Look at that. 13's already got it there for me. So that's probably in that news release here, which I don't have in front of me. I beg your pardon, but I appreciate the assist there, 13, March 18th. So there you go. Okay. Jay, regarding Apple, sell any bounce until it closes over 180. So this is kind of the position that I've been in, right? We were talking about that 180 level being a huge support. Now that support has broken, it's now resistance. So to Jay's point here, unless Apple can somehow muster the strength to get above and close above that level, it's probably just sell any bounce that we get there if you're actually going to trade Apple. Long term, my view hasn't changed to still hold long-term position in Apple. Okay. Generally, those SPX ads get faded. Okay, so here you go, guys. So, Jay, I know this is, of course, not financial advice, but Jay giving you some of his experience here. Generally speaking, when stocks get added, they fade. We'll see if SMCI does that here today. If it does, maybe intraday puts are the play. Okay. And Mark saying, I was happy about SMCI joining S&P overnight. Yeah, if you were long SMCI over the weekend, today is probably a pretty good morning. Make sure to pay yourself in case we do get some of that fade, book some of those gains, maybe even trade around your report.
And congratulations.
And congratulations. Exactly. Really, really good point. Okay, one more thing that I want to bring your attention to, because this actually happened late Friday. Some of you may have been out with the family or on the golf course, or perhaps even both. Let's talk about FSR. This is actually something that we have been talking about in Happy Hour quite a bit. We've mentioned it a number of times here. I know a lot of people in this chat are interested in the EV names, which is great. So here, let me go ahead, and I'm getting all types of notifications here. Lost my train of thought because of that. Okay, we've been talking about FSR, a lot of interest in EVs. Now, FSR looks like it's going bankrupt. So one of the things that we had a discussion with when Apple announced that it was scrapping its plans to build its own car, we thought to ourselves, well, maybe there's a world in which Apple buys a defunct or a bankrupt EV company, gets that company for pennies on the dollar, then they can do whatever Apple branding they want, and boom, they can have an electric car a little bit easier. Maybe that's the case. Now, the one thing that we will say is that we did see a related piece of news on Fisker. So you remember Fisker from last week. The stock had a really, really rough week. Really kind of sold off on Thursday morning. Thursday after hours, I beg your pardon. And then Thursday morning it sold, Friday morning it sold off again. Now, we did get a piece of news late Friday here. We did get Nissan nearing deal to invest in Fisker. Okay, so this was actually 11:30. We got one a little bit earlier than that. We had a rumor earlier that Nissan was going to be involved in this. I'm trying to find the actual post here. Here we go. 2:51 p.m. This is it. Nissan, Fisker in advanced talks on partnership. Deal could close this month, but has not been finalized. Terms could include Nissan investing more than $400 million into Fisker truck platform. Terms also could include Nissan building an Alaska electric pickup. That's the name of one of their cars. Has nothing to do with the state. For Fisker starting in 2026. So it looks like we do have some type of interest. This actually made for a great day trade late on Friday. So for any of you that were around here, awesome opportunity. We ended up ripping from like 41 cents, topped out at a high of 58 cents, and then we kind of came back in. But what's notable here this morning is that in the pre-market, volume's not crazy yet, but we've actually kind of drifted back up to that 58 cents. So you guys know me. I am not a penny stock fan. I normally just completely pass and avoid and gloss over all of these. I actually scalped this on Friday because I happened to be in front of my computer. I wouldn't be opposed to doing that again. The one thing I will say here is I would really need some type of quality due diligence to feel good about holding this for a swing trade with the purpose of Fisker being potentially, taken over or having some type of investment. I just don't know if that's actually the case.
No comment.
So are you looking to trade this at all? I mean, that's definitely not what I was expecting, 13. Are you looking to trade this at all here today, or are you completely hands off on FSR?
No, well, I'm not really a big, under $1 kind of stock trader.
Yeah, me either.
But I just don't like the story on this. That's funny. I happened to see one of their ocean vehicles on the road this weekend. Had a nice paint job, but this was another car.
Yeah,
I just don't get the appeal. I'd have to look closer at why Nissan thinks they even need to do this, because it's interesting. But they want to get into the electric truck platform. They have truck chassis already with Nissan. I just don't get it.
Okay.
So
well, there you go. So hands off, unless there's actually something else in the story there. But FSR, at least this is one of the stocks on watch. Okay, let's flip over to the actual to my movers tool here. Beg your pardon. And we'll go ahead and take a look at some of the stocks that are looking to gap here this morning. The first one here is going to be QNRX. Now, this is Quonin Pharmaceuticals. Did I butcher that? Do you guys know how to pronounce this one? Maybe I butchered it completely. I don't know. QNRX here. We did pop as high as about 768. We kind of came back down to this $5 level. Looks like we're drifting back up higher here. There was a PR on this. Quonin Pharmaceuticals announces FDA clearance to recruit teen subjects into both ongoing Netherine syndrome clinical studies. Okay, so I don't know much about this. What this study actually is. I don't think I've really traded this stock here before. So maybe some due diligence here, but this PR here, this FDA clearance to recruit teen subjects, this clearly driving the stock here. Stock's up 123%. Be careful with this one, but it's certainly got the volatility, and it's so far certainly has the volume.
This has a 1 for 12 reverse split that it performed last July on the 18th. And they have under 1 million shares float. They have 967.8 thousand shares in the float. So easy to push around. So
low float, PR, former reverse split. We got a number of boxes checked here for a potential trade here today. So, okay. Now the next one, this is the one that everyone seems to be excited about here, especially 13, maybe Andy as well. We have Fufu here. Okay. This is BitFuFu, ticker FU. Now, 13, I know you have a different thought here on the actual ticker. Maybe it's going to say FU here today. We'll see. Yeah. BitFuFu shares trading higher amid volatility following the company's recent business combination with Ariz Acquisition Corp and listing on the NASDAQ. So it looks like this is a SPAC merger here. Bitcoin related, very general. If I read you the overview for the company, you can see exactly how general this is. BitFuFu is a digital asset mining service and cloud mining service provider dedicated to fostering a secure, compliant, and transparent blockchain infrastructure. It provides stable and intelligent digital asset mining solutions, including a one-stop cloud mining service miner, hosting services to institutional customers and individual asset. So, I mean, that is about as general as it gets. I don't know really anything about this company. I can see here we've made a ridiculous move, right? We went from 7.5 to above 18, about 18.5, and now we're back here at 12. I got to imagine, I don't have a float figure. Do you have any outstanding shares in your poking around, 13?
Yeah, 3.35 million shares in the float.
Okay, so 3.35, that's not super low, but that's still pretty low. It still could get pushed around here today.
Yeah, and this company, they if you can go to their web, you can just Google them and they'll get to their website, and it looks okay, but they don't really, it doesn't seem like they really own anything. They just work with these other miners so that they can get their platform to work. You pay a subscription, you have access to cloud mining, and then you're supposed to end up mining Bitcoin somehow. And they do. They have connections with not ownership, but just connections with miners out of Canada, the United States, and Kazakhstan. So take that information and trade with it how you will.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I feel like there's a lot of risk here based on what you were just saying. The setup would have to be great on FU. And you know what? I know that this is going to draw some laughter here today just because of the ticker. I mean, whether it's FUFU or FU, it don't really matter. it's going to generate some laughs. We're going to have some fun. There's no question about that. Okay. I do want to answer this really quick question. Then we'll keep running down the list of stocks here from the movers tool. We will talk about some of the bigger happenings here. FK asking, Ryan, what are your thoughts on the gamma squeeze happening in AMD? Okay. So let's take a look at that here real quick right now. First of all, if we take a look at AMD here in the pre-market, we're up just over 1% again. We're now above 200. It stocks at about $205. If you take a look at the daily chart here, you can just see how crazy this squeeze action actually is. When we take a look at the short interest here in AMD, there's nothing that's really eye-popping. We have only 2% of the float shorted, days to cover only 1. So there's really nothing there that I would consider high short interest. But when you take a look at the actual price performance here, this thing is clearly kind of squeezing to the highs. The big thing for me on this one is that I already am kind of in the feeling that the market is kind of a little bit squeezy, like we're overdue for a pullback. I've been, on the bearish side for a little bit here. So I'm not surprised to see some individual names, especially ones that are similar, like NVIDIA, AMD, SMCI. They're all kind of doing the same thing. The big thing here, FK, is that I can't tell you when this stops. If I could, then I would be kind of stalking that for a potential trade. But I don't know when this squeeze action stops. And I frankly don't have the risk profile to jump in front of this with a short. Andy or 13, you guys trade AMD on a regular basis or not?
I do not.
Honestly, I was just looking at how AMD looks sort of good, but NVIDIA does not, and everything seems to be, sort of a cliffhanger right now. So I'm really excited to see what we're going to get at market open right now, because looks like the market, one way or another, it's gonna get it might get nice today.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm looking at NVIDIA here. NVIDIA at the pre-market highs here. Let me pull up the Qs here real quick, see where we're at on the Qs intraday. Qs look very similar to the SPY, right? The SPY and the Qs look like they're kind of dipping here, might go a little bit lower. Some of these individual names look like they're going to trade higher, NVIDIA and AMD among them, obviously SMCI with the news. So it'll be interesting to see where we go here. Rock the Trader saying, I have AMD for long. So here's the thing. If you're already in this, the move that AMD is doing right now is great. Like, you should be able to sell into the strength at multiple levels. Again, if we take a look at the daily chart here, let's just say you added at 100, right? We had already moved through 100. We had a nice pullback where that 100 level held. That seems to be fairly decent entry. We were down there for several days. So it's not like you only had one day to buy this on 100 test here.
Open.
But if you're bought this here at 100, I mean, that was like right around Thanksgiving. This is already a double. And we're not even, we're in the beginning stages of March here. So I got to think you sell into some of this strength. I'd be curious to know how you're trading it, though, FK, if you're kind of trading it for a squeeze. 13, appreciate the heads up there on the market open. Let me flip over to my main account, or excuse me, my main workspace here, and we will observe that scanner here today.
Ryan, one lesson I learned on AMD is holding stocks is definitely perhaps the way to go on some of these. Alyssa, I think, had that at $8 and $12, and I think she sold it at least into 30. So I don't know. It's day trading sometimes isn't the smartest thing to do.
Yeah, it's also sometimes more difficult, right? Like, how many times have I day traded a stock only to be slapped on it, but had the right overall thesis on it? Day trading it's not the easiest thing in the world. Okay, looks like we're going to get started here. Let's get rolling. Get all my stuff situated here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Should we just take a look at Fufu right out of the gate here? I mean, is that really what we want to do?
It sounds like that's what you want to do.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to give the people what they want, right? I'm trying to give the people what they want. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Becca. Regarding AMD FK, I was planning to go long. Barclays just update the price target 235. Okay. I mean, maybe there's a little bit more. I would just be careful in case it comes back in, with it being extended here. Scanner just kind of died out there. Let's see what's going on. Oops.
This was pushing. Trying to get through this pre-market supply.
Bring up some charts on my other screen here real quick. SMCI looks like that dipped a little bit out of the open.
Looks like a lot of these morning runners or the morning movers are trying to trade up out of the gate here, but not really having some success.
Yeah, Tesla's looking pretty strong, going back up towards the real body high here.
There we go. AIMD. There we go. There we go. You said Tesla, huh, Andy? Let me bring that up here. Sorry about that. A little slow on that. Tesla first move here is down.
Right under 200 again.
Yep.
That's not where you want to see it, but
I
you know, you might get support from 194.
Didn't we bounce off 198 last time? Lynn and Randy, check me on that. I wonder if we bounced off that 180 or 198 level. I beg your pardon. Fufu spiking? I didn't see that on my chart. Is it updated now? Let's see.
It did, and then it came back in. It's having the time trying to get through this pre-market supply that above 13.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just kind of bouncing around here. It looks like it stopped right at the VWAP there.
My chart's not working, so that's what's going on here.
Okay. We all have dealt with the chart issues before. If I can help, let me know. My chart seems to be okay so far.
I switched to Apple and they're doing good.
You switch to an Apple product?
No, switch to the Apple chart and it's actually working. So that's
Gotcha. Apple, by the way, bouncing. Jane, welcome back. I think you were on vacation last week. I hope it went well. Welcome back. Jane saying go save here. Save looks like that's, of course, Spirit Airlines, which we've traded quite a bit recently. Looks like this dipped here in the morning. Spirit Airlines shares trading lower after the company announced the termination of its merger agreement with JetBlue. So that drove Spirit down. It is bouncing here, so maybe this is a trade. I'm not in this, though.
Yeah, I think that Spirit, it's going to go down if they end up going through with their bankruptcy, and if they don't, then that could set up a pretty good rally. I think. Don't quote me on that.
Okay. I saw Adel.
RNLX.
Okay, RNLX. Adel got a mention earlier. This was a recent trader. Look at this. This dipped a little bit, but curling back up on Adel. 13, you mentioned RNLX. I see that here on the relative volume scanner as well. What's going on here?
It's trying to get above 165, it looks like.
I see your catalyst here. RNLX shares trading higher after the company announced that it had received an unsolicited approach from a publicly listed strategic diagnostics company.
Takeover bid.
Fufu faulted. Boy, I am going to screw this up a ton today. Fufu halted here to the upside 1462. I tell you something, that's not easy. 13. We'll see if you're able to get through this. You probably just be smarter about what you're saying. By the way, COCH from last week, this also halted to the upside here, 673 on that move.
Yeah, so Ryan, if you don't mind, I would like to share some wisdom from the great Eminem.
Okay.
I posted this today.
I of course would not mind
All
that.
right, spaghetti, here we go.
So anyways, what I've learned in my trading over the years is just as Eminem says, I need a good reason to give this trigger a good squeeze, which means that I can't just buy things just because they're moving and they look great. I actually have to do what I've said my whole life, back up and see the big picture. I remember I've talked to my kids, my wife or whatever. It's like, oh, look at the big picture, you know? And here, when I get into trading, I'm tempted to zoom in on this micro, time frame or whatever and not see the big picture. And honestly, I would like to make my trades to where if I walk away and I can never look at that trade again for the next however many years or hours, days, whatever, that it's not going to crush me. And, so anyways, in the words of Eminem, I need a good reason to give this.
I like how you related that to Eminem. Obviously we're a Detroit-based company here, so any Eminem mentions are going to go over well with us. Also an excellent candy, but that's not what you meant. What I will say about that is that, Andy, I do this all the time, right? I look at a 1-minute chart quite a bit. This is one of the reasons why the whole smoke tuna 3-minute chart on the trade the pool thing was such a good thing for me, is because it actually forced me into looking at more time frames more often. This is also why I like to align charts in different time frames on one screen, just because I'm forced to look at different time frames. But you're right. If you're always focusing on that 1-minute time frame, sometimes you lose the big picture, and that big picture can actually be a driver of where the price is going. This is especially true on some of these bigger stocks. By the way, Tesla pounding the lows here, 196 now. 196
Speaking of
on
the big
Tesla.
picture, if you guys don't mind, I upgraded my 15-second. I always told you guys I'm looking at like the 4-hour, I'm looking at the 5-minute, I'm looking at daily, weekly, but the 15-second. Well, anyways, right now I now have the 15-second. I have the tick chart, and then I have my 1-minute and 2-minute all in a 4-square deal here.
Mhm.
You know, so anyways, what that does for me is lets me see if they're all sort of lining up or if I'm getting a rejection on the other one. Because a lot of times, you know, if you're looking at one time frame thinking you have a setup, another time frame is telling you different information.
Yeah.
So big picture, looking at all these at once, as
And then
well as
sometimes all those time frames have continuity, and then you're really in good shape.
exactly.
Real quick, while we were talking there, CRDF, this actually broke through the intraday highs from Friday and is pounding the highs here. BBAI
COCH.
looks like it did the same thing. Sorry, 13. COCH?
Yeah, that's halted to the upside.
673 here on COCH.
Tesla dropping to a new low.
AKRO here. This had a huge pop. It came back in, but it's not breaking down anymore. We'll see where this goes to. Tesla got mentioned there. Let's see where Tesla is. That was at 196. Looks like it broke that 196 and it was going lower here. Wow.
You guys already said FUFU or FUFU halted.
Yes, that one is halted. Macy's shares trading higher after Arc House and Brigade Capital increased their offer to acquire Macy's for $24 a share. So Macy's current price here, $21. Looks like they had an offer get increased there. Let's take a look at SE here. C shares trading higher after the company reported financial results above estimates.
Yeah, ADIL. This got mentioned. I was just taking a look at that. It looks like it's it's broken through the 315 level. Next level I have is 420, but it might run into some resistance around 360.
Is that ADIL?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's take a look at that here.
And QNRX looks like a pretty nice potential area of support, both on the 2-minute and the 5-minute.
ADIL. Okay, let me go back to the chart here. I'm actually going to have to refresh this here. Oh, as soon as I hit refresh, the chart resolved. Come on, Ryan. Come on, the timing's got to get better than that. Okay, big move in PHUN. Looks like that is halted here. PHUN. Oh my God, why am I having so much trouble with the chart? Is this what happened to you guys earlier?
Mine just wasn't updating right. It wasn't moving. So I thought Tesla was doing good when obviously it's not.
Yeah, my regular chart works fine. It's just the trading view is okay. I'm just going to leave it on this for right now.
Which kind of violates my rule. I'll never, basically, if the information's not fluid, the information's not valid.
So this PHUN, did we reverse split here? Because this stock used to be a penny stock. Yeah, completes reverse split. Yeah, right in here.
Yeah,
I used to trade that stock every time it popped up on the squawk, and every single time it would slap me. I got to the point where I was like, I don't even care if it's moving. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to look at it. Nothing to do with it. Anyways,
yeah,
so I then sat out of a really amazing day on PHUN just because of this. I had that whole I'm not going to trade it thing, and it turned out that was the day that it was just mind-blowing.
ADIL went to 360 and it came back in, so it's trying to set up to take the next leg up at for the moment, it looks like, anyway.
Okay, let me see if I can bring ADI. I'm sorry, I'm struggling with the trading view outage here. I'll try to keep it on the other chart.
Our NLX looks like it's trying to go. It's getting a nice move up here. Might run into resistance around 165, 170.
I'm assuming, like you said earlier, Ryan, most people are looking to buy the dip on the SPY. And I know the bears have been looking for that day. Every time we pull back just a little bit, they're like, see, I told you. And then it just breaks out to new highs again. But
Here, let me move over to this. I'll keep this on the news feed until I can get that chart resolved. So here, so I saw FU. That's still halt. FU is halted. I have it as. Yeah.
It was RNLX that was starting to move up over its
VWAP. And that FU halt should end in 2 minutes here. ADIL, that moved up here. That was a nice little move. Sorry, I'm not following the chat as much as I should be here. Nice job on you folks with ADIL.
Looks like RNLX is still trying to make that move here.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm now getting that no data issue.
Yeah, okay. I reported it. I'm sorry. I'm not sure why that's the case here. My regular chart is working. It seems to be like an issue from TradingView. Okay. Anyway, here, this RNLX looking like this is popping to the high end of this range. I had that top there at 167. Be interesting to see if it breaks that off here. RNLX 13. Did you pick this up on that last move down? Move through VWAP. Okay, good stuff.
So it looks like semiconductors are lifting the market here.
So here's a break to the upside on 165 on RNLX. Let's see, right through. And higher. So 5 cents right there. Nice job. Here we go through 170. Took the size there. It looks like that is it there. That 165 break. Okay, great job, 13. So I was a little bit slower here because I'm dealing with this stuff, but I'm glad someone hit it here.
Yeah, I'm out of this one. Coming up to the next level of supply in the pre-market, so I'm out here.
Okay, nice job. Nice trade, though. Nice systematic trade there. Jay mentioning here, Apple, Google, Tesla, all very weak and all breaking down. So remember, that was one of the things we want to take a look at is how some of these bigger tech stocks end up faring. Looking at the SPY here, that actually moved up off the lows. What?
COCH open, and it is ripping.
COCH is open. Let's take a look here. 774 on COCH.
Yep, right up to this level that I have at 755, and it's going up a little bit higher above it right now. But
I've got a spread here of about anywhere between 8 and 10 cents. It seems that when it makes that move, the spread really starts to spread out here.
Yeah, it's probably going to come back down and try to find support.
Open going higher here. 18 prints on FU.
I was just saying about COCH. I think it's going to come down to about 7. If it doesn't get support there, then I'll just look at something else.
COCH coming back in a little bit, it looks like. OCEA being mentioned by Becca here. OCEA trading up a little bit. Looks like that is kind of pulling to its VWAP.
Good stuff.
RNLX through that pre-market high that we just talked about. Boy, a lot of stuff happened right there at the same time. How about that? Right at the same time.
Oh, look at HIMS. Wow, that just took right off.
Oh, man, sure did. Remember, we talked about HIMS just on some of the semaglutide stuff.
And you said it was a good entry back down there underneath 14. And now it traded up to over 14. You know, I still think that you were right about this being a good one for long term because
I think so too.
They really do have a good business model, I think. Like the Amazon of drugs.
Hey, looks like we got our charts back. Let me know if you guys got your charts back here. Good report. Looks like that was just kind of a feed issue. Here we go. RNLX looks like that busted through that pre-market high. Coming back to the VWAP, you know, this will be very interesting to see if this stops here at the VWAP. By the way, Tesla, anyone trading Tesla here, let me know what the trade plan is on Tesla. If you are, this thing pounding the lows.
Apple continuing to work its way down too.
So FU went all the way up to the pre-market highs, just about top ticked 1844. Coming back in, if it holds VWAP, this probably will still be set up a good trade if it holds that.
Okay, let's see here. Let me bring that up here. Jay mentioning that SMH, that's where the strength is. Semiconductors. We've talked about that quite a bit. It seems to only be semiconductors. That is where the strength is. RNLX back to that VWAP right here. that VWAP right here.
Yeah, I agree with Paul Sneed on HIMS. I agree with that. Probably some need to just park, some play money in and just see what it does.
Yeah, I think that's probably a swing here. I mean, just playing that on the semi-glutide angle, might be working. By the way, Fufu here, this is halted to the downside. Looks like right into that gap. I would suspect that this goes lower here on Fufu. I'm going to go with Fufu instead of FU. Maxim mentioning that Bitcoin just broke that 67K. I'm looking at the futures chart here. Bitcoin 67,000. Nice whip here on Bitcoin. This is wild.
I was posting about how that was going to happen earlier this morning in happy hour. It just had this perfect setup for it to go up to that next level I have at 67. Just a great setup on the chart. Hopefully some folks picked up some of those Bitcoin names. Looks like QNRX is trying to get going here.
Looks like PHUN ripped here. I'm staying away from this. And remember, Lynn and Randy told us yesterday, Super Tuesday tomorrow, right? So that might be a catalyst here for DWAC. I can't even believe I'm saying this, but DWAC looks to be a little bit more of the easy trader here than PHUN, at least so far this morning. It doesn't seem normal.
What did PHUN's float get reduced down to as a result? That'll tell you a bit of the story. It's
quite a
really,
yeah.
It's only 7. It's still 7.8 million shares. Not too small.
That might not be updated yet. We probably have to figure that out from the filings.
Okay.
RNL, what?
Sydney. Okay, so Viking Therapeutics. We talked about how they would do this at some point. They're making an offering, public offering.
Is that new news right now?
That's the big one. I mean, I think that if this is news, like new news, then
Sydney, that's old news, Sydney. Yeah, we had this news from we had this news from February 29th.
Okay.
Sydney, are you seeing something else or what's going on here? Let us know. I don't see anything fresh here on Viking. They did it already. Okay.
Averting my eyes elsewhere. Looks like ADIL is getting some good support from the 315 level, but it's not very. It doesn't really have volume right now, but it could pick up if this continues to hold.
Actually, that did a really good job stopping at that VWAP here. So that's definitely something to watch, or how those stocks hold up here. If we take a look, here's another one. 13, you did a really great job trading this one already, right? RNLX.
Yes, that was the first
one you were already in. Look at this. This didn't even chill at the VWAP. This came in and kept breaking down. We're at this point now, 150 looks to be the spot. Let's see if it holds here.
Just seeing a bunch of those names we mentioned earlier just kind of come in, so looking to see what sets up.
Do you guys love it when a stock catches a bid right at your number?
Yeah.
Oh, and doesn't fill?
When it follows your trade plan, yes.
Okay, ADIL still looking pretty good with that 315 level holding. It's making its way, trying to make its way through. My VWAP anyway. I have it up here. 331.
ADIL, let's see if we move up off this VWAP here.
Yeah, if we can just get that volume to expand, this one could be good.
Yeah.
I'm not in it yet.
BBAI, another one here, moving off that VWAP and actually out of the consolidation area here on BBAI. Someone was trading this last week. Can't remember. Someone was on this one last week. Where's CRDF? Looks like that's pulling back here towards the VWAP.
Coke is getting pretty.
Is that COCH?
Yeah, I don't know how you guys want me pronouncing this, but I think the PG version is Coke.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
So basically, guys, on the SPY, the market overall futures, I'm looking at Apple and Tesla. If we break this support right here, then I'm looking at that more as a green light on a short for the SPY or future. Overall,
Wow.
sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm just was looking at this recent move in Tesla. That is just a big old move.
Yeah. Yep. Looking through some of these names here real quick.
Ken's doing pretty well with his Tesla puts.
Did he hold those? Is he? Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. RNLX, maybe it's curling here. Let's see what happens if it reclaims VWAP.
Okay, so with Tesla, I mentioned the 194 level needing to hold in order for us to see more upside. We're right there.
Voodoo here mentioning, I don't see a bottom in Tesla yet. Money flow still moving out of the stock. I think it continues to trek to 165-ish. That's another 30 points from where it's at here. So there you go. Voodoo, like that.
165. Yeah, that seems like a level.
RNLX now through that VWAP. Let's see if it holds here. I've got the VWAP at 159. 150, just okay, 158, 159 in thereabouts.
Yeah, QNRX.
JMIA pushing away. Jay, your JMIA keeps going here. That was really good timing on this buy. Look at this. This thing has been absolutely vertical. After this break out of this bull flag here, bang, this thing just continues to move to the high. I think your next spot here on JMAI, likely 10, maybe 10 to 1020 there. JMIA, I think I said JMAI. Because I got AI on the brain. I can't help myself.
That stock might trade better if it was JMAI.
I mean, that,
Right.
the fact that that's true is kind of the problem on its own. Sorry, Andy, what was that?
Oh, I was just agreeing. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that is pretty hilarious. QNRX, this is another one from our watch list here. Dip below that VWAP. Let's see if this gets reclaimed here on QNRX.
HSDT. I want to say it might try to find a bottom here, but I'm not sure. So I'm just kind of making a mention of that one. But Tesla still holding that 194. It might not hold too much longer, but it's still holding there. I think that needs to hold in order for it to try to move back up.
Here, let me bring up the Tesla chart real quick.
Yeah, if we can't, then I agree. We're going lower. Looks like
it's one thing we always got to remind ourselves: the trades don't have to work out in our time frame. You know,
they rarely do. They work out in the time frame as soon as the show ends. Is what I've noticed. How many times have we joked about that, 13? As soon as we get off the air, boom, the trade plan that we've been looking at all morning ends up in trade. Didn't that just happen to you on Friday?
That happened all week.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
All week.
It's not a new thing for us.
No, that happened all week. Oh my gosh. And then I'm trying to think of what that one was where we had just gotten off the stream and then it just went. I'm trying to think of which one that was on Friday that you're talking about, but it went. Yeah,
I'm not sure. There wasn't FSR because that would have happened too soon. Yeah, I'm not sure.
What do you think? Do you think we should extend this show another 5 minutes?
I like the comments here. You need to stay around longer. That might be the case at some point. That might be the case at some point. By the way, CRDF here. We talked about this one. This actually taking the second leg up here, breaking out of that flag. So a nice little move out of the pre-market area, but also now a second leg up here.
Yeah, this one's got some good.
You guys were saying to watch SOUN. Lynn and Randy, looks like they have that popped back to the VWAP here on SOUN. That needs to reclaim it and build above, though.
I read an interesting article about the case for SoundHound with voice recognition software starting to get. I'm trying to think of the right word to use, but a lot of companies are investing in voice recognition software. And SoundHound's right up that it's right up its alley.
Okay.
So there was an interesting case for that. So that this one is probably going to be in play for some time, if that's true.
I don't know what I'm talking about too much here, but I just saw some little square device that's sort of like a cell phone called Rabbit, and it's AI, and I guess you can ask it to order things or whatever. It's like, but it's supposed to be supposed to protect your freedom and
Rabbit product. I saw this, but I didn't know what it was.
Rabbit R1.
Rabbit R1. Let me look that up here.
$200.
So what does this do now?
Apparently, it's like an AI that's not nanified, I guess you could say.
Here, let's take a look. Your Pocket Companion. Learn more. Let's learn more about this. I don't want to
Pocket
necessarily.
AI? Is that what that is? Pocket AI?
Companies like Apple learn any
See,
who played the role Oppenheimer in Christopher Nolan's latest movies.
In Christopher Nolan's most recent
so
film,
yeah, this
Oppenheimer,
is
the role
exactly
of
what it is.
Robert
This is
Oppenheimer
Pocket
is played
AI.
by Cillian Murphy.
That's hysterical.
The film is a biographical.
So it's basically just a little device
Rabbit
that
OS,
you ask
even beyond.
questions, and it's pocket size.
I've seen.
I think I
something
need
like
one.
this
I don't know about you guys, but I now want one.
But iPhone
Nolan's
I mean,
most
driven by natural
so
language.
why?
The
So here's my question on this. I'm going to flip back over to the chart here. Here's my question on this. What is the benefit of using that over the cell phone?
It's probably just because it's cheaper. It's
Yeah,
$200.
but does anyone have that device in lieu of a cell phone?
CDRF probably making the next move up here. Sorry. That's my argument too. I don't think that it's worth getting when you already have a cell phone. Even an old cell phone seems better than that.
But here's the thing. Like, I want to CDRF, CRDF, Cardiff,
CRDF.
yeah,
Sorry,
CRDF. Yeah. We'll leave this up here because this is actually flagging up here. So here, that's the real question to me. I mean, if it's really helpful to have, it's a nice supplemental device. $200 is not a price point that really kind of breaks everything. So I kind of like that. But I just don't. Andy, let us know if you get one. Let us know where it fits in the pantheon of other devices that you carry on a daily basis.
Well, my temptation is that it's basically supporting your freedom, I think, and it's not going to be like a nanny device, sort of like you'll find with Google AI and ChatGPT.
Mark saying we ordered a few. It was the June shipment, so you're not going to get it for a little while here. Mark going say it's a no monthly fee AI service. Okay, so I can understand that. Tuna's Rabbit is old news. Let's see, what else did Tuna say about it? Ryan, Rabbit can get you an Uber by asking it, or book a hotel vacation by asking it.
So I guess that's the other appeal, is that there's a lot of less risk when it comes to being advertised to, being spammed, or all the things that come with all the nuances that come with the cell phone. You get robocalls, things like that. This is just a no nonsense device that just takes care of the things you want to get done.
Okay,
I think that's the appeal.
Okay, EKS saying no monthly AI service is interesting. Okay, the things looks like an AI iPod. That's kind of what I got. You can program it to do macros. Okay, well, so this is what I mean. Like, this is a learning experience for me. I'd be interested to see how this fits into the, like I said, the pantheon of other devices that you might carry. Andy, if you get this, let us know. Let us know how it goes. Let us know what you use it for in the whole 9 yards. By the way, CRDF ripping to new highs here.
Mm-hmm.
The real looks like this has had a really good day. Kalu, I saw you were trading this earlier today. Looks like you still are. Let's go. Good volume here on the real as well.
And Jay, to answer your question, I don't recall that that company, but if there's a ticker or anything attached to that, I'll see if I can
IBM
find it.
This one?
No, it was from earlier. He was asking about a company called or some software maybe called Nuance.
Oh, Nuance.
It was taken out 3 to 4 years ago. I don't know anything about it.
Isn't that Nuance Communication? That's ticker NUAN. Is that? Am I getting that right? Let's take a look.
I don't know.
Oh, I put N. Nuance Investments. No, doesn't look like it.
COCH still holding up here. It's been it's went underneath the VWAP, so there's that. But
Smoke Tuna mentioning RNLX not strong here. He is out. Yeah, that one that really looks like that didn't work.
It's going
here.
down.
Yeah, great job 13 earlier trading this one. Really great job. You were able to get some gains out of that before it really kind of sank.
Yeah, it was getting held by 65. Sorry about that.
What happened?
Oh, Apple just looking like it's about to break the lows, or potentially going to break the lows here.
Take a look here at Apple.
Well, this is
Yeah, Apple looks like it's going low. This has been extremely weak all day. You want to talk about weakness?
So the only
weakness. It's been really weak.
So it's really just Nvidia that's kind of holding up the SPY, isn't it? It seems all the other Mag 7s are red except for Microsoft and Nvidia, and Microsoft's barely up, but Nvidia is ripping.
Nvidia is actually off the highs here, right? So we're down 10 points off the highs. To your point, though, that first move here was up. By the way, FU looks like this is rebounding here and going for some more highs. See on FU, this one not something I want to trade here. VLCN, Voodoo, looking at VLCN. Don't see that one on my scanner yet. Let me pull that up here. VLCN.
This was a
oh my God, big move here on VLCN.
This is an old girlfriend. We were trading some number of days ago.
Did you say that's an old girlfriend?
Yeah. all these past tickers that we trade, call them old girlfriends, because you don't want to marry these things.
No, I don't even want to take out a lease.
13, man. You guys are just. Jay mentioning Target here. Jay, Target reports tomorrow. The DDD buy before earnings read after huge run. Did DDD buy this? I actually missed pre-market prep here this morning. Earnings tomorrow. This thing's dumping ahead of it. Place your bets. You tell me what you think. So I think maybe this is what Jay was talking about. This thing's running into earnings. I almost wonder if it will be read after earnings. A lot of stocks that we've seen that run up into earnings end up not doing that well, or at least not trading that well the day after. We'll see where Target goes here. Actually, how are Target options priced?
Look at a daily with the 500. We went right up to that, and we're getting rejected there.
I've got another chart for that here real quick. Do that here. TGT. Boom. Oh, look at that. 13. Rejected right at that 500.
Yeah, I think that's going to be quite the level to get through. So it depends on how earnings look for it. Indeed.
Someone mentioning Root. Are we finally taking a break here in Root? That let me tell you. So here's the daily chart. Yeah, we are down here today, down 9%. That's nothing given the run that this thing has made here. 13. I know we talked about this every day. I feel like we talked about this the first and second day right after that initial pop. Look at the move on Root. This thing absolutely vertical, went from under $10 to above 30. Very, very short order. Looks like we're pulling back here.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
This I mentioned in the happy hour chat 40. I think it was 42.60 that I was looking for as the level, because if you go to a daily chart and you look back to about the middle of 2022, you can see that we came up to about a peak there before we went lower, and we kind of consolidated there. So that's kind of the area I was looking at as potentially topping out. Almost got there, but not quite. And this still could probably not be done. This just might be consolidating before the next move. So yeah. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But it went up almost to a level that I had outlined here based on the previous price action.
This thing been absolutely crazy. RNLX, maybe this kind of stopped and put in its bottom. We'll see. ETNB, this is up off the bottom. Real continuing to push highs. Kalu, dude. Kalu, you're going to get a register ring and a 1-up today because you have been on it since coming back. Good stuff, my man. DDD said this AM that his best strategy this year has been buying before earnings. Set your alarm clock earlier. No, man, I'm good. I totally got my morning routine down. Appreciate the looking out though. As far as the trade here, one of the things that Triple D was saying recently is that he's faded a lot of those pre-market moves too. Number didn't make sense. There's a lot of over exuberance in the pre-market, so maybe you end up trading those back down. We'll see if Target pops tomorrow. I think Target probably goes lower.
Looks like Viking Therapeutics is trying to head higher.
Oh my God! Look at VIVK, Vivicor.
Jeez.
This you remember this one got mentioned by I think Andy in the happy hour a long time ago. And he's the CEO, he knows the CEO over there. Big pop. I wonder what's going on here on VIVK.
We'll find out today, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, that'll be interesting. I don't see anything in the news feed. So
OCEA if we can start to expand volume here, it might get going in the next minute or so.
Take care of yourself, Born. Great day, man. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, have a good day, man. And you guys, dishes are done. Got over 1% on the account today, 5-0. So pretty good day.
Hey, what are you trading there, Andy? I feel like you might have just ran you over too much.
Yeah, just trading the futures quietly.
Around here.
I don't know about you guys, but trading just brings peace. I don't know. It's like a meditative state.
Okay, so we are probably going to get a big move with DWAC here because I think we just got some news about Supreme Court puts Trump back on Colorado Republican primary ballot. So we could see this start to rip here.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess so. That's the actual news. Looks like we actually got a spike here. I mean, I think everyone pretty much thought that was going to happen here.
Right.
But in any case, yeah, it looks like we just got that here. Let's see. Yeah, DWAC, this is kind of muted. Yeah, this is kind of muted given what DWAC can do, what we've seen this do. This seems fairly muted here.
Zim also coming down as
Zoltan mentioning that. Zim coming in.
There's a ceasefire deal that's being worked on, and it's really just in Hamas's court right now whether or not they accept. So that's likely what it's moving down on. But I don't think that's the end of it because Houthis are still firing at ships and they're sinking them now.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say I don't think that's the end of it either.
I don't know about you guys, but when I reach a point where I've done good like that, I want to wait until there's a bigger move, not just take any setup, because that's when things can get derailed, you know?
Yeah, totally. I'm totally with you on that.
OCEA, I'm just watching this one because it's looking like if we just got the volume expansion that we could break through the pre-market consolidation here we had in the earlier morning. Okay,
let me take a look at this one here. OCEA.
Looks like Coke's also trying to come back up, COCH. But volume just not really where it needs to be with some of these. Let me look and see what the SPY's got for volume here.
OCEA, this 260 level looks to be in play here.
Okay, I'm going to be watching SPY volume today because, as we've been, mentioning and pointing out, we've had a lot of low volume days into some of these economic reports, and we're probably going to end up getting that again. I think the only thing that we're really looking forward to right now is to see what Powell has to say when he testifies, and the jobs report on Friday. Also, Broadcom reports on the 7th, and that's the last of the big players in the queues to report. So, be another interesting day for that too. I might see some tech sell-off after that, potentially.
Yeah, that Broadcom one, that'll be interesting to see. I mean, the other tech stocks have ripped, so I wouldn't be surprised if Broadcom does the same thing here, to be quite honest with you. Taking a look here, JMIA looks like this is coming up off the VWAP there. PHUN, this looks like this is going for highs, that 12 print. Looks like this is actually coming right now for any of you trading PHUN. I am not in this. This one moving here. VKTX still holding above 90. God, that thing is crazy. FUFU coming back to the VWAP here. Amazon higher, Apple still at the lows. Tesla trying to bounce. Is Tesla going to get that bounce? Look at the pull here on PHUN. Yanked it right off that 12 spot. We actually took 12 out. I didn't have it on the chart, so I didn't see what that looked like, but we took 12 out, yanked right back beneath. Let's see if that firms up and goes back towards that 12 spot. Looks like it's doing it here. Is anyone trading PHUN? I know this thing's moving. Sorry, whoever I just ran over there.
I was just going to say, speaking of FU,
I bet you were. I was going to say that those jokes are coming at some point here.
HIMS looks like it's setting up to go higher if it can hold these levels. Volume needs to be better, though. This has a nice pattern. That's why I'm looking at it.
On HIMS?
Mm-hmm.
Hitting the scanner, yeah. Let's see where the real is. God, this Kalu, man. This, your real going for that 320 again. All right, let me bring up HIMS here, 13. See if this folds back to that VWAP there. Wiss, out of fun right now. Wiss, did you get any golf in this weekend? How'd you do? Tried to go to the driving range yesterday, and there were literally every bay was full, and there were people with full buckets of balls waiting behind them to get on. The weather was so nice here, everybody had the same idea: get to the golf course.
If HSDT doesn't hold here, I think it's probably going under 5.
Okay, let's bring that up on screen. HSDT. This is Helios Medical.
Yeah, this one was on the scanner this morning because it's secured HCPCS codes for its medical device that helps people with MS be more mobile and not be more on balance. So this one has 871,000 share float. They did a reverse split in August. So. ADIL is reversing. Or pop, I mean.
I still don't have that on my scanner. Let's see if I can get that back up here. ADIL.
It popped up to my VWAP and then it came back in. Yeah, this is better than this.
This actually a little bit above VWAP here. Interestingly enough.
A lot of garbage of old popping today.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah. This is not great. I mean, we were looking at some of this stuff on Friday and it was kind of like this. And then after we got off the stream, things really started going. So maybe it's just a little early right now.
This ADIL, not bad here. And in fact, the more that we build above this, the better off that we should be. What's up, Judge? Good morning.
Sorry, folks. Just trying to find something.
Yeah,
good
so
to
am
talk
I.
about.
I'm kind of looking around here too. RNLX, that continuing lower. That looks like that's got no strength. That was a good call on that weakening earlier, Tuna. Really good call. BBAI here. This actually still flag. This is one of those, by the way, 13 to kind of keep on your watch list just to see if this ends up getting rolling like later on in the afternoon. Like we've had decent volume here. We had a little move out of the gate, but now we're doing a good job holding right around that VWAP. A volume pop might send this here. FSR, by the way, we talked a little bit about this. Really, really rough day. FSR here tried to bounce, just a complete sell-off out of the open, tried to bounce from 47 back to the VWAP. This looks like this is coming back down. I don't know about that Nissan investment. I don't know.
And then am I wrong in saying that I also saw Apple potentially talking about Rivian?
Was there news on that? I know that there were people floating that, but I don't know how sticky that news actually was.
That's just what I'm asking about. Like, how real was that? Because I think that was a rumor. I just don't know.
Yeah, Apple. Do we see anything? I don't think. Let me know if any of you guys are following Apple Rivian rumors. That would be something else. Here, let's see if we can. Yeah, I don't see anything in the news feed here on that.
I think you're right about BBAI. This actually could get going.
That's what I'm saying, man. It looks like it's kind of coiled that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see if this can make some more up moves over the next 15, 20 minutes.
You got a spot on this one? I mean, 450 looks like a fairly...
It's currently working its way through my VWAP. So if we can, you close around here, I'll probably take a small position and see if I can get something out of this. Okay. It's setting up for some VWAP or EMA crossing VWAP. So that's usually a signal for me.
I'm going to watch BBAI here. I'm going to bring this up on a chart.
See that volume expansion, and we could get going here with that one.
Yeah, no. So thinking about it, saying Apple just got out of cars and now they want back in, I don't think so. So Apple stopped their own development product, but if they could end up buying like a company that's for pennies on the dollar, I could see them doing it. I don't really think that Rivian makes sense though. They're losing $1 billion a quarter, right? That's something we've been we've been discussing for a while. I don't think Rivian's the target. Let's put it this way. If Apple goes that route, I think they look for something other than Rivian.
They need to do something, though, because they are not coming out with anything really exciting except for their laptops and their phones.
That
headset is a big flop.
I was just going to say the laptop is easily the best laptop on the market. The goggles, I don't get. I think they're overpriced. And the phone, yeah, I'm not an iPhone guy. Soundhound retreated back to the lows. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Andy. I totally ran you over there.
Oh, that's cool, but I just think that they should wait for people to really get on board with the goggle thing and let it develop a little more before they really come in with this high price. But you know, that's my opinion.
They need content.
Apple. Sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really, they just need content for their device. They just don't have it. All right, look, here goes BBAI. We're starting to go here, getting that volume expansion.
Did it really?
I mean, it's starting. I'm not saying that this is going to break out and run, but it's really starting to look like it.
And SSP up at the highs here.
Brett saying, Apple, I heard Musk reached out to Apple to buy Tesla. They said no. I don't know anything about that one.
He's such a business troll sometimes.
What?
He's just a business troll sometimes.
Oh, Musk, you mean?
Oh, yeah. It's great. It's fun to watch.
Spot here at 450 on BBAI. Let's see if they take it. There was big size there that they hit. Looks like they refilled it here. If that falls, I think maybe we go higher here on BB. There it goes. So it's not popping there. Maybe a couple of cents here.
A little bit more expansion.
Yeah, let's see if they can keep rolling. To your point about that expansion 13, what I'd really like to see here is one of these buying sticks really, really kind of get juiced up, right? Like, let's have this thing just have a whole bunch of buy-in and run up here. That would be awesome. See if BBAI can get rolling here. Oh, looks like they sold it back.
We'll see.
Amen, Andy. They shot for the moon. It's cool, but that's a serious headset to walk around in. And to 13's point, Born, I don't think that they have the content lineup yet that they really need to drive this thing as like a mass adoption product. Like that, inevitably, that's what's going to do it, right? If there's something on the goggles that people feel that they need, that's what's going to drive the demand for them, and that's what's going to allow people to budget for, you know, a $3,000 product. Right, you know, like some of their really good computers are the same deal, right? They're $3,500, but people understand computers. What did you say?
QNRX, it's coming up. It's doing a 65 EMA bounce on the 5-minute.
QNRX. Let me bring that one up here. I don't see that in the list here. I'll do it manually.
This was one of the morning movers. They had the FDA approval. This was the teen subjects FDA approval one. Sad that we have to remember it that way.
Yeah, well,
BBAI is getting going too.
It is what it is. QNRX, maybe this is bottoming here.
Yeah, but BBAI is making. I think it's about to make that move. We just got some bids coming in at 452.
Yeah, we started to see that volume stick get a little bit higher here. Again, let's see if we can push above this. BBAI, maybe 460 is your next spot here on BBAI. Would love to see some just buys like flow into this name.
You got a big wall at 463, 464 that it needs to get through, but we can definitely get up to 460. I think that shouldn't be too big of an issue.
It's trying right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's trying.
It certainly is. I say that, and then it says, "Oh, bet," and it takes it back.
Yeah, we're gonna go right back down. It loves to do stuff like that. Sorry, just checking some more things here real quick.
Yeah, but we're still going to get some EMA crossing VWAP here, so it probably will. If it can hold this, it'll probably go higher into the 460s and maybe maybe new
Let's see if
highs,
that comes back
possibly.
down to VWAP and gives entry there. PHUN being mentioned by a number of people in the chat here as being a beast. Look at that. That's ripping higher here.
Wow.
Who you guys trading PHUN?
I'm
You
not.
guys out there? Yeah, I'm not
No,
either.
not me. It's a beast, though.
It is
Yeah.
a beast.
I'd love to claim that I am, but I'm not.
Yeah, me either. I think FSR starts bouncing. It looks like that from the RSI. We'll see. FSR is really kind of struggling so far. And PHUN continuing to go towards those highs. How's Fufu holding up here? Nah, it's just kind of staying in the same range there.
See, normally I would trade PHUN, but other than what I told you about the ticker before. But like I said, need a good reason to give this trigger a good squeeze. So that's going to be my thing from now on.
The M&M drop coming back into it. I love it, Andy.
Once that bullet leaves the barrel, it's over. You can't get that bullet back.
It's over. It then comes back to your number, then it rejects off your number, then it goes back to your number and rejects, and until finally it really rejects, right?
Yeah.
That's that back and forth that we talk about.
BBAI really needs that volume.
Funny thing is as traders, we're always tempted to get hope when it goes back to our number. Like, this is it, okay? Like, I'm not going to take this small loss, which I should take. Instead, I'm going to wait for the big profit, and that big profit generally never comes. And then, it's like, well, maybe I should have just taken that beautiful opportunity to take nearly, a tiny loss or no loss.
Something about staying wrong.
Jake,
Stay wrong. Is that what you mean?
No, I said something about staying wrong. You can be wrong, but just don't stay wrong.
That's right. You can be wrong. You just don't stay wrong. Jake Mate asking about GitLab here. GitLab has earnings today after the close. That will be interesting. So keep that in mind if you're going to trade that here today. We were higher here in the pre-market. I guess in accordance with the regular market, we really did kind of sell off out of the gate here. What does the daily chart look like on GitLab?
Looks like we're going to halt and fun.
You're going to halt in PHUN? Yep, there you go. Great call, Andy. That literally happened a second after you called that. Pretty good. Really quickly here on GitLab, we're actually in a consolidation here. I would want to wait and see what the earnings print does here. I don't have a line on this. I know we use GitLab here, but I don't like or dislike this company more than the next one. I'd wait for earnings to get out of the way here personally. Let's take a look at fun as that got halted here. It looks like to the upside, right? Yep.
We can hold these levels here. CRDF could return.
BBAI came back to that VWAP just like we talked about.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get CRDF up here.
Couldn't muster the volume in this one. I'm not saying it's over, but this isn't a great candle.
No, and that with that being beneath the VWAP, that's one of the things that we really need to do. Jake says, thanks, my man. You're welcome, dude. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out. OCEA breaking the range. Remember, Becca gave us that early today. Let's see what that. So Becca, you had mentioned this on the first push up there out of that volume. It looks like it really kind of consolidated, built above that VWAP. Now we're getting this expanding volume taking us higher here. This is exactly what we wanted to see. OCEA looks like 310 might be the next spot to stop it. And by the way, it looks like BBAI might be turning around right here on that VWAP.
Don't look now. But Root's back.
Is it really? You
Look
gotta
at
be
it.
kidding me. Oh, let's do it. This thing has been nuts. Andy, did you trade Root at all?
Root, no.
No, this I feel like was a miss. I straight up missed this.
I captured a little bit of it, but it was I don't want to use the word terrifying, but the spread, how spread it was. I just wasn't sure I was ever going to get in and out the way I wanted to. So I was conservatively trading it, and I didn't trade it much. I just don't want to, I don't want to hold it up here.
Really? This AIMD fool. Every time I see this in the list, I think it's AMD, and it fools me, and it's just not. About the opposite of that. CRDF breaking down here, by the way, that might be done. Real, this is still holding up here near those highs. Clue, I know you were trading this earlier.
VKT, I called this going. I mean, I appreciate the mention, but I don't know that I called this going higher. Maybe I did. I mean, I appreciate it, Daniel, but I didn't. I don't know that I said this was going higher.
This stopping at the pre-market double top, by the way.
Yeah.
VKTX.
I may have said that. I just don't remember if that's exactly what I said. It looks like, okay, so that OCEA that was getting mentioned. Yeah, that one looking great.
Yeah, that actually stopped there. 287, trying to hold 280 here. FSR moving lower.
VLCN, I think, is starting to get going here. We could break the intraday highs of 125. It's got a nice bull pennant on the 5-minute chart.
Yeah, it just seems Microsoft and these semiconductors are holding the SPY up pretty well.
How ugly do you think it's going to look once that trade's over?
Do you mean the SPY or the tech trade? Or
the tech trade?
Yeah. I'll let Andy answer first.
I'm just saying a lot of people have been waiting for that day and predicting it and thinking it's going to happen and getting crushed day after day.
You're not kidding. You're absolutely right. And in fact, Andy, for a small time in there, I was one of those people. I thought, there's too many people. There's too much concentration. It's got to come back in. Well, no, it didn't. It can actually keep going for longer than you think it can.
I got sick of that, Ryan. I was telling myself the market's not low enough, the market's too high, or all these different things we tell ourselves about these trades. It's like, you know what? I got to just let price tell me what's happening and stop telling price what I think it's going to do.
No,
DWAC is on the move. Next level I have in DWAC is 46.75, and then after that is $50 even. This thing has got a nice setup from Friday's consolidation, breaking out this morning, and now it's trying to retake that pre-market high.
So let me get you.
Fun is open.
Fun is and it's 13 spot on here. That 46 spot coming up on DWAC. That is a spot on call right here. Here's PHUN open and higher. Stop me if you've heard this before.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Beast.
13 just trying to pour some gas on the fire. Real quick here, I want to talk about snow. We talked about this being another potential trade on 3 closes above the 200. Remember, on that first earnings day, we pulled down, we bounced. Now look what's happening here. We're rolling back over. So this is one of the reasons why you want to wait out that 3-day rule. Now, if you had chased this initial bounce, remember we had taken a look at that. I had day traded it, but I didn't put up my swing. Look what would have happened. If we had chased that bounce here, we might be minus 9 points, 10 points here as we're waiting for this. I want to see where snow closes today. If it holds this, great. If it shows continued weakness all day and we move back in towards this level, might not take a swing position here. So keep this in mind here on snow. Kevin, I know that you were chatting about this earlier, looking to buy more snow if it gets down to the after hours, after earnings release last week. Thoughts?
VLCN.
So what I want to do here, Kevin, is I want to notice where does this stock close and what is the intraday trend on the close here today. Okay, VLCN.
That did it popped, made do like a 1 penny new high, and it came back in. Volume's still pretty low on this, but it might not be done. I don't think that's going to be the only move. And if it is, it'll be trading probably under $1 soon. HIMS still looks like this could make another move up.
Sticking with the FU trend, my whole thing today is just wondering if the market can give the bears another middle finger today.
I mean, so far we're just kind of flat, right? Like I don't really see anything crazy here going on.
The bane of my existence, Ryan. This is
flat, just a flat market.
Yeah. It's happened too many days.
We're up to 8.5 million shares traded on the SPY, so there's that.
What is that? 10% the daily volume or the average volume?
Just a little bit more than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, this is the morning when you usually get a lot of that volume.
Do you guys find that volume interesting on that red candle though?
In SPY?
Yeah, that little pullback and that little dance we just did, a lot more volume came in right there.
Which
it looks like they're just testing that VWAP level here on SPY. What do you all think about PanW? Stock is getting hammered. I'll take this one first. You guys are welcome to share any thoughts that you have on PanW. All right. So PanW, I'll give you my real quick breakdown here on PanW. First of all, as far as cybersecurity goes, this can be a very, very difficult sector to trade. I think that, the next big war, the next big conflict is likely to involve cyber. I think there's a place for cybersecurity, but it's not been an easy sector to trade. With that being said, PanW, best in breed in this sector. So if you're looking at adding PanW on weakness, in my opinion, you're picking one of the better targets here. You take a long-term view on PanW. I mean, look, this is a monthly chart here. Each candle represents a month. The stock went from $13 stock in 2013. I know we're off the 381 highs here, but this is a really great chart to be in long-term. So long-term, I like it. Best in breed here. Now, what you're probably asking for is, how do we trade this right now? Well, first of all, I'll take this weakness right now. Remember, we already traded this after earnings. We came down to the 200-day. We had 3 closes above, and then we traded this. I understand we might have been helped by the Pelosi effect or whatever happened there. I don't know. I make my trades without factoring her into the plan. Now that looks like that's a little bit over, we kind of stopped at that 50-day. We're moving down to the 100. Maybe it gets a little bounce here, but I would do the exact same thing. I'd wait for closes above these levels, right? We're starting to slow down. Maybe we find some support here. Do we close above this level? Do we get a couple of closes above this level? Do we break down past this and maybe kind of retest this 200-day? I try to be patient here on PanW. I think if you get any type of support near one of these moving averages, you can probably swing this long. I'll say this. If we break this 100-day, which is this teal line, we come in here and we find any support above this 200-day, I'll try the same trade again. I'll swing it long again. I'd be looking to trade PanW long. Tough sector to trade. Best in breed in that sector, though.
Yeah, I don't have any thoughts on PanW. I mean, it did have a pretty sizable move down, and I expect the bounce that we were talking about earlier to it's already materialized. This would probably be something I would wait and see if it consolidates.
Yeah, consolidation above one of those levels would be prudent for another long side trade here. Okay, let's move back. I know there were a lot of these smaller names are running here. Hey, look at OCEA. That is ripping up to 3. Did you call BBAI 13?
Yeah, we've been talking about it in the chat. Kalu was mentioning it. I've been watching it. It's trying to make that move. Yeah.
Be back in just a moment, guys.
Okay, no problem, Andy. Frank, Ryan, you should have told us you had that kind of pull in Congress. This might
Nancy
be
ETF.
Right? This might be the joke of the day right here. That is awesome.
What would that ticker be? Man. PLSI?
FRUD? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
Jonathan Cooper mentioning Life W. Nice spike on volume here. Look at this, too. We got this expanding volume. This is what we were waiting for in BBAI 13. Look, we got the expanding volume right around the VWAP. Mm-hmm. Look at the stock push away. Good trade here on Life W. Maybe we get the same thing on BBAI.
I mean, it's still working. BBAI is making, trying to make its way back up to the morning breakout up to 479. It's just going really slowly because it doesn't quite have the volume that you were just mentioning. But it's making its way up there. Now we're getting a bit of pull. If we can hold VWAP, there's still probably life in this.
Agree with that.
Let's see what else is setting up. Looks like CRDF may have found a bottom. It's going to come up back up to VWAP, it looks like, but I don't know if it breaks through or not. But it does look like you're going to be able to capture, what is that, about maybe just about 10 cents if you're trying that to VWAP. VLCN. I mean, we did pop, and we're still holding these levels. It might try again. Just needs to get that volume expansion. Look at VTYX. I had a nice little breakaway there, but again, low volume.
Look at BBAI. That's going. VTYX was the one.
Mm-hmm.
VYX. Here we go.
I had a nice big candle there. But, you know, the volume's just really, really slow. So it's probably got some, you know, I haven't looked at the spread, but it's probably there. Look at Root up above 40.
This daily chart here, by the way, VTYX, this actually looks like this wants to pop this high and keep going here. Let's take a look at Root. God, 13, we missed this one, man. This one, this is unbelievable. 4X move from, what was this? The big February 20. I mean, oh my God, Root, what is going on?
Squeeze.
If you guys haven't
Yes,
seen NVIDIA and
Jay.
AMD also.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Andy. Welcome back.
I was just saying, if you guys haven't seen NVIDIA and AMD as well.
NVIDIA holding up near the highs here. We got asked about AMD earlier. Who was that asking about the gamma squeeze here on AMD? Well, that continued. And actually, if this keeps grinding back up here, we got that high right about 211. Watch for this to pop through 211 if this can hold its strength today. Jay was mentioning here on PanW, this is actually a really good mention again. Those who chased Pelosi, not working out so well. So like I was saying earlier, as far as my trade, Pelosi didn't factor into it at all. I guess I happened to catch some good timing there. Okay. But to the point about chasing here, that might not be the way to go. I think Jay's making a good point. Voodoo is agreeing. Ron, good to see you. Good morning, Ron. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, when you see Pelosi that got into something, that's a sell the news event.
Yeah, by then see, you're right, 13, because by then the trade's over. Like, you needed to already be in that. You needed to already have that on your radar prior. That's a good point.
VLCN might watch for volume expansion, because if it gets it, it's going higher.
By the way, just in case anyone out there didn't know, just shout out to Aaron Thomas for being awesome. A lot of behind the scenes work here at Benzinga. Might not get the recognition that he deserves. Shout out Aaron Thomas. You do a great job every day.
Thank you, Aaron.
There's like 8 politicians that trade better than Pelosi. She became a meme. Well, you know what? You should actually keep that. That kind of actually goes back to Jay's point about chasing. If she's a meme now, maybe chasing some of her buys is ripe for failure, you know?
Or get puts.
Ron says, you're doing well. That's what I like to hear, man. That's what I like to hear. Our community doing well. That's what drives me every single day. Kalu over here just literally making a mint with all of the stock that he's trading. Love it, Kalu. Another register ring for you. Another register ring for you. Look at BBAI, by the way, 460. That was that spot that we were taking a look at. What, right? Wasn't it? Here we are, 460 up. Not a whole lot of size there.
Yeah, it's just that volume needs to expand.
Yeah.
That's what you get. You need to get that in order to push through some of these, you know, these big sell orders that are sitting there.
Looking across here. Like Apple just, let's take a look at the Apple chart here. I know you guys have talked a lot about Apple. There's no strength in this chart here. All right. I know this is not really like a sell-off. It's an orderly move down, but if we take a look at the SPY here, SPY's about flat. Market looks like it's really kind of holding up. Apple doing the opposite, really bucking that trend and continuing to print lower here.
Yeah, Tesla's about the same.
Good. Let the Mag 7 fall.
But AMD, actually, AMD just pulled back below the performance of NVIDIA. They're neck and neck.
By the way, Palantir, this is one that 13 and I talked about, liking more and more the more that we kind of just do due diligence and wait on this one. Palantir down here today, too, down about 4%, came back here to the VWAP. Maybe we'll get an opportunity to add some of this on Palantir. Would love for this maybe to come back towards 22 and hold that. That'd be a pretty good entry point for a swing long.
So with Apple, it's almost 13% down from the highs that we put in December. And if we got down to 65, it would be almost 17.5% down, which is a pretty good, pretty good correction. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. So I have this. I have those exact same numbers down just about 13%. Now you said 160,
165.
165.
500 day is.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is a 17% move down. You're absolutely right on there. So we'll see. Look, I mean, I'm not afraid or I'm not against adding really strong companies when those companies have weakness, right? Because I don't think, like, even if Apple, we're talking a lot about the headset's too expensive. They don't really have a lot of new great stuff there. Yeah, that might all be true, but they're still a quality company. People are still going to wake up and use those iPhones and replace those iPhones. So adding it on weakness might not be a bad idea there. Nice market reversal. I'm watching Amazon like paint. Amazon higher here, 180s. That butterfly is cooking.
Man, VLCN could definitely go higher if that volume's expanded. The volume's just not here right now in this market. Did the SPY get over 10 million shares traded yet? Nope.
I think so.
No, it didn't.
I don't think so. 9.3 versus 77 million average. And I know that'll go up when we get the closing print. That'll be a big pop.
Right.
We might end up closing under this.
Yeah, it's likely it'll probably be somewhere in the low 70s, high 60 millions.
Jay saying here, I'd rather buy the stocks with good earnings on dips like a la IBM than the ones with bad earnings on dips. So basically, if the stock reports good earnings but then sells off, that's what Jay's looking for. I totally get that. I totally get that.
Yeah, set some levels and find out where you want to start adding.
Yeah.
And I know he brings up IBM a lot, and for good reason. I think it's great.
Me too.
I own this company, and I've owned it for a while, and
it's not sexy. It's not a big mover every day. It doesn't have loads of PR, but it's a quality company. They've been doing that for a long time. I think that's sometimes the steady plays are the best plays. They might not be the most fun to actively talk about and trade.
OCEA is breaking out to new highs. Sorry to change the subject.
No, it's totally fine. Andy, futures look like they're up to the top end of the range here. You see a trade there?
I might see myself stopping out, Ryan.
Oh, okay? You're short then. It looks like. Gotcha.
BBAI might get going here.
OCEA popped through 3 right there.
Yep.
BBAI did move through that 460 spot that we talked about not long ago here. Let's see if this can ramp and go. A little bit of size right here at 164.
See what I mean? When you're 5-0, you should just back off and wait for something big.
Hey, being 5-0 is a great way to start the day, Andy. I mean, you're doing a hell of a job over there. OCEA higher here. I got to think that, look, if you guys were trading this earlier, don't forget to pay yourself on the way up.
Get it, Kalu. Get it.
Born, an interesting question here. What do you think Powell does to the market during his Congress testimony? I think he'll probably try to be as calm as possible, probably make some references to being data dependent, maybe not saying that, but saying what data they're looking for and what they're looking for in some of those different prints. Will the market react? I think probably. I don't know how it's going to react, though. Sorry, 13. What do you think about this one?
He'll direct attention to the economic reports. Okay. That's what I'm looking for. I think he might mention difficulties with the consumer, especially with the amount of debt that they have. He might mention buy now, pay laters. There's a joke going around about, when Powell speaks, the market leaks. I think that's what we'll probably end up seeing, but I also think it's going to be dependent on what questions are asked. So just look and see what they start asking. I really couldn't give you a definitive up or down answer.
Yeah, me either.
If I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with the little thing that I just said there, it'll probably end up going down. Just because, every time he comes out and starts saying something, more times than not, the market's sold off.
OCEA continuing to push away here. CRDF, this is one from a little bit earlier here. It looks like maybe that moved back to the VWAP. The last time we moved to the VWAP here, actually the last 2 times, we were unable to break it. So really what we need to see here on CRDF, at least in my opinion, is can we actually break this and start getting rolling here? Volume's really kind of dried up here as well. That'll be something else to watch.
FU is back down to that morning consolidation and pre-market. So it needs to keep the support here, and maybe even the 65 EMA that we have at about 311 or 1311. Otherwise, it might be over.
On which ticker was that?
FU.
Yeah, that's what I have here. I was like, roll through a couple of these QNRX, man. That was a disappointment. OCEA. Let's see if this has another move here after this pull.
It might. Hymns.
Hey, Jay, this is exactly what I wanted to read. Sorry for interrupting you,
Okay.
13. I played golf yesterday for the first time in months. Shot a 77. I've never shot a 77 in my life. It's crazy that you can just do that after a months and months hiatus. My God, you're good at this game. 4 birdies, an eagle, 2 doubles, and a triple. Might say I was rusty. Jay, that's impressive nonetheless. Glad you were back out there, though. Glad you were back out there. I bet that felt great.
Yeah.
OCEA trading up to that 350 level. We'll see what happens there. What did you have, 13?
Nick Sanders was mentioning SMCI hit 1100. Wasn't that a price target from another analyst?
Yes, I think that was a Rosenblatt price target. Let me figure that out. I think you're exactly right.
1300 was the Rosenblatt price target. Let me look.
Yep, Rosenblatt. No, there was an 1100 in here. Hang on.
I think you're right. There was. I just don't know where it is. Well,
yeah, no, I think that maybe that was a prior. I don't know.
Maybe
I don't see it here. 1040 from Bank of America, 1300 from Rosenblatt.
Maybe it was for NVIDIA and not, but we already know that was going to go past that.
SMCI. OCEA, right? Oh my God, dude. I took it off the screen for 1 second and it moves through 350. Good morning, Walter. It's great to see you. Great to see you.
Look at Root. It's got a bull pennant set up.
I mean, like I know we talk about not buying stocks that are extended. Root sure feels extended here, but man, this thing has worked over and over and over again.
Fastly found the bottom and then rebounded. It looks like every time it goes under 14, it just gets bought right back up.
Yeah, that might be another ad spot there. We've been kind of watching that one, kind of scaling into that one. Here is Fastly. And let's look at that daily chart here, because this, to me, is encouraging, right? The sell-off has clearly slowed down. And so if it's dipping under 14 and getting bought, to me, the next move here is maybe a curl and get back towards that 17 handle.
But it does need to do that at some point soon here. Otherwise, it could go lower. I mean, you don't want it to be hanging out here for too long.
Because it's just going to be weak. It's just going to feel weak. So update that. Video calls getting bought. MSTR calls. I'm not surprised with that move. By the way, Bitcoin above 67,000 on the futures for Bitcoin. Oh, doctor.
Yeah, Crow is mentioning that ENCP is ripping, and Ian Terry is asking, what do you guys think about IOVA?
Okay, Ian, good to see you back here. IOVA, this was an interesting one. This one, I was a little salty on this one. IOVA, big move here today. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But if you recall last week, maybe it was the week before last, recently, this stock had a big gap, right? It was right in here. It was this on February 16th. We had a big gap. And then that day, it was testing this 1260 area breakout. And then the very next day, we broke through that area and we have not looked back. In fact, if we take a look at the 15-minute chart here, we might be able to see that. Yeah, right in here. This was that day, right? This was that day it really kind of traded up to, again, Feb 16. I have to look that news event up. And then it was right in here. We were actually watching it for a day trade and it broke and it came back in. And then the next day, it took that level out. It took the after hour high out. It flagged for several days, took another leg up. Now I understand that it's, we're selling off here today, but what I would be looking at here is where do we stop? If we stop right in here around 16, maybe 1575, this was a consolidation area for several days. And I think if you stop there, you might actually turn back up towards the highs here. This thing has been a huge mover. Now, as far as the news catalyst today, they're trading higher after the company announced that FDA had lifted a partial clinical hold on the registrational trial investigating one of their cell therapies in non-small lung cancer. So I'm almost wondering if you had people playing for this event kind of taking profit here today. Again, what I would watch is where does this stop breaking down? Sorry, 13.
So that's okay. I was one interrupting you. Crow, I didn't notice him saying that, but the fund is moving off its VWAP. And so we're both mentioning it now.
Yeah, so this actually pulled right back to its VWAP and bouncing here. We'll see if we end up doing that. Betty Boop, good to see you this morning. JMIA, yeah, I was looking at this earlier here. This thing was really, really good, right? This move back down to the VWAP, this thing just really kind of took off. Now, once we got to this double top here, we didn't quite get to the VWAP again. On the way back up, it took a while, but once we broke this, we've taken the next leg up here. JMIA, this is one that we've looked at a whole lot recently. I think Jay Rice was saying that, it's prudent to trim after the move that this thing has had. On February 15th, this stock was in a 3 handle. Today, we're in an 8 handle. I couldn't agree more. If you have been trading this one, you got to pay yourself on the way up. You have that kind of move, got to book some of those gains. As far as a new trade here, I would want this to come into a buyable spot. If you're going to day trade momentum, that might work too.
Coke setting.
Speaking of locking in gains.
Go ahead, Andy.
I just took a small amount of profit on that short on the SPY because I felt like, you know what, I'd like 6-0 even if it's small than to lose.
And so here you go. So rejected off of that top move. This is a move back down to the VWAP here. So you basically just close that for a small gain. Gotcha.
I was just mentioning Coke looked like it was trying to make its way back above VWAP, but it's getting a little bit pulled back down. So not sure, but it's just been kind of consolidating. So it'll choose a direction eventually.
I'm just looking at some of the SMCI trades here. There's a 2,500 stretch. I mean, that's, you guys got to be joking. When I say you guys, I mean the market.
Yeah.
I know you guys aren't joking with me.
Root's still looking like it's going to break out of this formation. The volume's much lower than it was before, though.
I actually see someone, I'm looking at the options chain for SMCI here. Someone was buying the March 15 $1,400 calls on SMCI. 391 of those.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm staying away from that, but just mentioning it since I'm seeing that here. SMCI, what a rip. What a rip. Okay, let me run through some of these. Yeah, that JMIA trade, Jay, that was choice. That was really good.
His
It's
bank
really good.
account
I've
certainly
scalped
wasn't
it
high
several.
today.
I've scalped it several times since then, but that move from 3 to 8, that would have been the move I wanted to be in. By the way, BBAI teased that breakout at 465, rolled back to the VWAP on BBAI.
Yep. Looks like fun still might have some fun left.
I mean, I don't even know what to do at this point. Like, just roll with it, right?
I mean, it's got a the pattern right there. It just just needs some more volume to push it back up. And that's kind of been the problem.
OCEA. This was a good move. This was a good move here earlier. AADI, is that AAOI? Okay, so here's AADI is AAOI. Sorry about that, Crow. This was another former one that we've traded here. It's really not doing much. I guess maybe. Yeah, about a 76-cent move in there. Intraday. Got fooled again. Thought this AIMD was AMD. How is AMD doing? I know, Jay, you had said Google was breaking down earlier. So AMD holding up here still around that 208. Apple doing a good job coming off its intraday bottom here at 174. Let's take a look at Google real quick. Looks like that's down 3% here. Wow, Google on the lows. Google looking like Tesla today.
Incredibly, though, Apple and I think Tesla both are holding these lows pretty well. Well, maybe not Tesla, Apple.
Let's see here.
All right, yeah, we got about 3 minutes left here on the day. We are going to be sending you over to the Trader Bacon show after. You don't have to do anything. Redirect's already going to be set. We're going to take care of it for you. We're going to keep trading these last couple of minutes here, and then we'll send you over there. Been a decent start to the week here. I know the volume's really putrid, but we did get some of these smaller moves early. We have some decent setups and some things to watch here. Got a market that's really kind of not doing a lot, right? It's really just kind of in this tight range.
Seems to be doing that until later in the day, Ryan, and then it tends to rip.
Yeah, Andy, have you noticed what time that starts to happen at? It varies for me, but sometimes late in the afternoon, that's when you actually get the move.
Because that's when I'm out of my trades. See, that's why.
Exactly, right? It just waits till you're done and then hits you with it. Jay, this is actually an interesting piece here. I actually meant to do this when I was in Arizona. I never got a chance to do that. TSM, I drove by the new plant they're building in Arizona on Sunday, one of the biggest plants I've ever seen. This actually confirms some of the things that we had been discussing in happy hour when we were discussing Taiwan Semiconductor and just the semiconductors in general. There were a couple of people in there that were saying that the plant not only is going to be state of the art, but it is bigger than you think. And so your report seems to confirm that. Look, TSM, I think they're in an interesting position with the whole thing with China and the US and the tensions there. But it'll be great to have a brand new modern state of the art foundry here stateside. Definitely looking forward to that.
One thing about all those companies in Arizona, I think it's really worth looking into some of the water delivery companies and different pipe builders and just basically some infrastructure companies just in that are involved with that, because those companies, those manufacturing plants for chips, they're going to need a ton of water.
Yeah,
a ton of it. So just I think I think it's really worth looking into some of those some water companies as a result of that.
Yeah, that's a good thing behind the thing trade there. 13. Jay says I'll take a pick next time. I actually really appreciate that. I would love to see that. So I appreciate you offering. Daniel, love hearing this. Daniel saying so sad when you guys leave. Should have a full day trading broadcast. Daniel, I'll say this. That is definitely the goal. At some point we should be able to do that. We all wear a lot of hats here. But at some point, maybe that'll be the case. And who knows, if we get another GameStop event, maybe we'll put some things on hiatus just to make sure we can stay with you and capture that. I don't want to make any promises that I can't keep. just figured I'd mention that. Okay, folks, we're going to get you over to the Trader Bacon Show. It's a good start to the week. Really appreciate it. Andy, again, happy belated birthday, man. Thanks for joining us again. We'll have you back here. Awesome consistency on your trades. Awesome,
Thank you,
awesome
Ryan.
stuff.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime.
Happy birthday, Andy.
We'll do it again. 13, thank you very much. I love the jokes, love the market breakdown. We'll be back at this tomorrow. Take care, everybody. See you tomorrow.